A week before the wedding, Lorenzo replaced the name on the marriage application with that of his uncle, Enzo, the new godfather. A friend asked in surprise, "Are you crazy? Selena has waited for you for 7 years. She's practically been left on the shelf, and you're giving her to your most ruthless uncle?" Lorenzo smiled carelessly. "Lena and I lost a bet, and I promised to do one thing she asked. Anyway, once Selena finds out about the name change, she'll panic and come running to me to have it fixed. Besides, how could my uncle possibly marry Selena? Once he finds out, he'll definitely call off the engagement. In the end, Selena will still marry me." His tone was frivolous and casual, and the group burst into laughter. I had been eavesdropping at the door for a long time, my heart growing cold bit by bit. On the wedding day, I showed up as planned. Lorenzo, who was always so high and mighty, went mad trying to break into the church. "I'm the groom. I'm supposed to be the groom. Selena, thank goodness I found out in time. But are you sure you don't want to change the name on the marriage application? Enzo is a ruthless killer. Why do you want to marry him? I thought you loved Lorenzo." My mother's eyes were a bit red, and I felt quite sorry for her. Ever since she learned that Lorenzo had agreed to marry me, no one had been happier than my mother. I had waited for Lorenzo for 7 years. From a 19-year-old girl, I had become an old maid, the laughingstock of the entire city, a woman no one wanted to marry. Now, Lorenzo had finally agreed to marry me. But then Enzo, on a bet with a maid, deliberately sent over the marriage application with the wrong name. My mother was both angry and heartbroken. In the end, she could only ask for my opinion. I traced Enzo's name with my finger and said softly, "Either way, he's still a member of the Camerata family." I couldn't afford to be willful anymore. Lorenzo's 10 postponements of the wedding had made it so that no man in the entire city dared to marry me. The first time, my friends were outraged on my behalf, condemning him for being fickle and faithless. The second time, the socialites were puzzled, gossiping about whether something had gone wrong between us. But later on, everyone decided the problem was with me. They said I was shameless, that I was clinging to Lorenzo even though he didn't want me. They called me mean, vicious, and unlikable, saying that even Lorenzo, who had grown up with me, refused to marry me. So when Lorenzo called off the wedding for the 6th time, I did think about marrying someone else. But the city's marriage consultant, upon seeing that the client was me, pushed the gift away. "Lorenzo has already made it clear, you're his. In Sicily, who dares to cross the mafia, especially the Camerata family? Take my advice, just learn how to please a man." When Enzo's mother, Lady Isabella, learned that I was going to marry Enzo instead of Lorenzo, she was very surprised. But then she thought about it. On one hand, there was me, repeatedly let down by Lorenzo. On the other hand, there was her youngest son Enzo, who, because of the rumors circulating about him, had remained unmarried for so long. She said, "Clearly, Enzo and Miss Selena are a match made in heaven. Why else would God make two such outstanding people suffer so many romantic setbacks?" Thus, she readily agreed to the marriage between Enzo and me. As the wedding was being prepared with great fanfare, Lorenzo showed up with Lena. I knew he thought I still hadn't noticed the wrong name on the marriage application, and he had come to test me. Even more, he believed this wedding was between him and me. When I ignored him, he didn't seem to mind. "Is everything ready for the wedding?" "Yes." Hearing how cold my voice was, a flicker of some unreadable emotion crossed his face, but he only reminded me, "Have you checked everything? After all, it's the biggest day of your life. Why not take another look?" Pretending not to understand his hint, I simply said, "I've double-checked everything. If you have nothing else, you should leave now." Lorenzo's expression soured slightly, but he pressed his lips together and said, "Fine. Actually, I did come here today for something. Years ago, I gave you my family's heirloom ring, but that ring was meant for my